Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Today is the big day before we start day one of our challenge. So I just wanted to check in with everybody and make sure that you are all set to go for tomorrow. So I've got my checklist here, and I'm just going to go over it with you really quick. Make sure you've done all of these items by the end of today to make sure that you're ready to go to start tomorrow. First thing on our checklist is make sure you've read all of your materials, okay? So your eating plan, your Start Here guide, all of that stuff. Make sure you've read through it so that you're familiar with it. Second thing is introduction. That's here in this group. If you haven't introduced yourself to the group yet, make sure that you do that. There's the 7 questions that you answer, and you just copy and paste it in the comments section. Make sure you do that, and also make sure you guys friend each other on Facebook so that you guys can learn about each other as well as just seeing each other in the group. Third thing is prep week posts and videos. Make sure that you're caught up on all of those. Every video that I've posted this week, make sure that you've watched it and that you've done any of the action items in it. So if it asks you to comment or something in the comments or to respond with a certain thing, make sure you've done that. So that's item number 3. 4, very, very important, make sure your meals are prepped and ready to go by the end of today for tomorrow. So make sure that you've figured out all of your meals, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Make sure you figured those all out and you've got your food ready to go so that you're not going to be caught off guard tomorrow when you start. 5th item on the list is your before photos. Yesterday I posted about how to take your before photos, so make sure you've taken those before photos by the end of today. Okay, so make sure you take your before photos. Last item is your measurements. I know we mentioned those a little bit in the post. To take your measurements, there were some questions about how to do that, so I'm going to tell you that right now, how to take your measurements. You can use a measuring tape like this one. If you don't have one like this, you can get them for like $1 at a fabric store, or you can also use, it's kind of ghetto, but you can also use measuring tape that you use like for construction or whatever. So if you don't have anything, get one of these so that you can measure yourself. It's the best way to track your progress because as you get stronger, your muscles will grow, which will actually add weight. So the scale is not the most accurate way to measure your progress. Your measurements are, okay? So because your body shape can be changing while your weight stays the same. So make sure you have a measuring tape. There's just a few places that you should be measuring, and these places are also found in your challenge pack in the material. So if you've read all your materials, this should be review, but here it is. So first, measure your arms. So right where your bicep is, you want to measure the widest part, and you want to do it flexed. Okay, so flex your bicep and measure right around here. Okay. Second place you want to measure is your chest. Same thing, measure around the widest point. So it's usually right above here, right in this area. And again, you want to flex, okay, when you're doing that. Next place you want to do is your waist. So right around your belly button area, you want to measure. And then next is the widest part of your hips. So measure wherever the widest part of your hips is, measure around from there. And then also your left and your right thigh. So the widest part of your left and your right thigh, you want to measure those as well. Optional, you can measure your forearms, you can measure your calves, things like that. But those 5 that I just mentioned, those are the main ones that you want to be sure that you measure. There's also one other item that you can get a hold of that's helpful when you're tracking your progress, and that is a body fat caliper. So this little contraption will help you to measure your actual body fat percentage if you want to know that. So basically you just pinch your skin fold at your waist, and there's a number on here that will correspond to a number on this chart, and it will tell you what your body fat percentage is, approximately. It's not an exact science with this thing, but that will give you a good idea. That's also a good thing to have especially if you have a longer range fitness goal that you're trying to reach a certain body fat percentage. This is a good tool to have, very inexpensive. Just look up, you can Google body weight caliper, or you can even get one off teambeachbody.com. So you can get a hold of one of these. So make sure you take your before photos and your measurements and your weight. Again, though, our weight isn't our primary standard, the measurements are, but make sure you get your weight as well so you have that. And then in our group, I want you to post your weight and your measurements. If you feel comfortable posting your before photos, I would post your before photos as well. I understand if you don't want to post those yet, that's okay as well. But go ahead and post your weight and your measurements. Remember, one of the keys to getting the most out of this challenge group is being vulnerable. So share where you're starting. It's going to help us to keep you accountable. It's going to help you to keep accountable to us. And remember, no one in here is going to judge you. This is a place that you can be safe to share those things and to be encouraged and to be motivated to make those positive changes in your life. So once you've completed all of your checklist items, I want you to comment below and say, I'm ready to go. All right? So comment below saying, I'm ready to go, and then post your measurements and your weight underneath the post about taking your before photos and measurements. Okay? So get all of those things done by the end of the day today, and you'll be ready to go for tomorrow. I'm excited about it, guys. Here we go. Let's do this.